Everything old is new again. America's entertainment pop culture talk show.
It may well possess a rudimentary intelligence.
I'm trying to think, but nothing happens.
Felt a great disturbance in the force.
Hello, I'm Mr. Red.
Come on, Mark, like a job for me.
Where's the goodies?
Leave the gun. Technique and only.
I bet you wouldn't have done anything like this if Mom and Dad were here.
You filthy criminal.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Here are your hosts, Douglas Viviani and David Cohen.
Welcome, Everything Old is New Again. This is Douglas Viviani. That is the Battle Hymn of the Republic, a song made very famous and popular during the Civil War. Why am I playing that, David Cohen, the rather clean-shaven David Cohen?
I don't know. Is there a Ken Burns documentary coming up I don't know about?
No, that's been done. We usually don't try to repeat things that have been done already, do we? We try to do something new, right?
That's true.
So along those lines, what we're going to try to do is peel the onion and look behind the scenes of Everything Old is New Again to see how do we come up with the idea for a show. That's the most popular question that I run across every time I go out, that ever I'm recognized by people through my voice or my Everything Old is New Again shirt that I'm wearing,
right,
or the placard that's on my car, whatever it might be, to draw attention to myself. People ask that question. And
where do you get your ideas?
Where do you get the ideas from? Now, we're joined by a significant individual here that is going to give us a different point of view than we normally have.
Yes, an importantly different point of view.
Yes, and an important person to one of us and all of us here. Leo Viviani's here. Oh,
Hey, Leo!
Leo, say hi, Leo.
Hey.
Leo's videotaping us. Actually, what we really mean is
we have another important person.
That's Michelle DeFranco.
Hi.
Yes, my lovely betrothed, is that how you say it? My wife.
Yes, of 26 years, correct?
Oh, well...
You know each other 26 years.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And you're married for 20 or so.
Yeah, something.
Right.
Like that.
Something like that.
23 years. We've been married.
23 years. How about that?
Yeah.
Right.
Now, during that time, have either of you grown a beard?
Michelle did. You had a goatee for a while.
Yep,
and,
I did.
It tickled, so I asked her to shave it.
But that's something that there was a discussion here of what kind of a show would you like to present. Let's just to get some ideas. We're rolling some ideas around, and I don't know. You, David, you came up with this idea.
Yeah, well, we actually Michelle and I came up with it together, knowing that she was going to come on as a guest today. We were kicking around ideas, and Michelle had an idea about, what's with guys and beards today? And not just today, I would say over the last several years, but it's really seems to be reaching, hopefully, a zenith. And maybe it's a good discussion because it's old and new again. I don't think beards have ever been as popular as they are now, except based on the or back in the Civil War. So anyway, that's what we thought might be a good idea, and we figured we'd discuss it with you to see if you were into doing it.
I'm open-minded, but I have a healthy dose of skepticism because I don't know that we can create a radio show based on just the beard, especially in that it is a very visual concept. How do you describe different kinds of beards? We could try it, but I don't know how.
I think it's like I think if you tell people don't think of an ice cream cone, you can see the ice cream cone, right? I think that holds true of beards, right, Michelle? What do you think?
Well, yeah, I think everybody knows somebody or many people with beard. To me, it just seems like so many men have beards now. It's just in our popular culture, and I'm wondering why. Why do so many men grow beards now?
And that it could translate to radio, I think, right?
Oh, the way that it would translate to radio is that everybody listening knows at least a couple of people with beards, or they have beards, or they see people with beards, like all the baseball players that have beards, and it's just in our popular, culture right now. Like, why is it?
Doug, I propose that it's weird now to not have a beard. How about that?
Interesting. I would recoil at the entire conversation, but
I mean, I think you can definitely picture a beard without showing people beards.
Right. But does anybody want to listen to the radio talking about a beard? I'm not saying we don't. Let's examine for a moment, what do we usually look for there to be a good topic on Everything Old is New Again?
Yeah.
You know, and then maybe we'll see. Maybe it fits in. Maybe it doesn't. We'll preserve.
I think we've already whet their appetite. I don't know.
What we're going to do?
People want to hear about beards.
I want to go with the original concept and try to see what can people see behind the scenes as to what we do to create a show. So to me, the first thing is, every topic on the planet, to me, has a generation of it or genesis of it from a long time ago.
Check the box for beard.
So, right. Okay. So it certainly has to be based upon something in the past. And almost everything, except for the computer, I don't know, that we have today is based upon something in the past. So that's a topic that can work for that, yes. But then is it interesting, funny, or weird? Is it something we can do with it that's different than other people have done with it? Does anybody have anything that we could do, maybe characters in some way, something interesting that's totally different take is a second characterization
I agree
of,
with that,
of the topic.
And I think in that case, yes. I don't know if there are other shows that are talking about men's beards right now. And I think that you and I just have this natural gift for making anything funny and interesting, and we can do it with beards too.
Flattery will get you everywhere. But okay.
But also what's unique, and let me just put this out there, which we usually don't have, is that we have Michelle here. So we have, for the first time, a woman's perspective on this subject that I think could also add to the uniqueness of presenting this topic.
Okay, so we'll keep that as 2A and 2B. The third qualification is, to me, that it would have to be let me clarify, doesn't have to have clips, but sometimes clips lend itself to shows, sometimes they don't. We don't always do clips in shows. Sometimes we do just a few, sometimes we do a lot. What is with the clips? Let's talk about that first. Why do we play clips all the time?
That's what I ask you every week, man. Why?
I just think they propel on the level of listening to the radio. They propel the conversation where they then it becomes visual. Well, people have heard something on the television or in the movies, and they can identify it, and it sparks a little bit of the listener's imagination.
Yes.
It brings them with us down the lane that we're going.
Exactly. The sound clips help you paint a mental picture of what we're talking about. And a lot of times I think the clips, by the way, the clips that you present in your show, in our shows, are just usually spot on, and they also, I think, and this is a testament to you, is a lot of times the clips provoke the conversation, so they're like a launching pad for a segment that we're going to talk about. So they work in that way as well.
Right. Okay. Good.
But enough patting ourselves on the back.
Right. Exactly.
Let's,
but what clips can we play, if any? We don't have to. We've done shows without. But what clips, if any, do you suggest with respect to beards?
Well, that's a tough one.
Yeah,
that's a tough one, because other than scratching your beard, that's about the only thing you can do from an audio perspective. But I don't know. I think that would be missing.
Shaving commercials? I don't know.
Oh, yeah,
possibly.
Shaving commercials. How about clips of Civil War generals portrayed in movies? Listen to how, are they very, very macho? Are beards associated with being super macho? Or
well, you've got that Duck Dynasty show. I don't know if it's still on, but that's very
those guys,
visual.
ZZ Top, we could listen to them. Do they have any songs about their beards? Because that's a huge part of their look. Okay,
it's possible. Could also look, I know there's a good Star Trek reference I'll hold in abeyance for now, that we could use a clip from Star Trek.
Yes,
I know, which
I remember that one. Yep.
We'll always do something along those lines.
Okay, so there are clip possibilities.
Clip possibilities. So I would suggest that the topic is possible. The only other thing I wanted to say, and we'll pick this up on the next side of the commercials, is characters. Do we have to? Do you want to? Is there anything on that?
Beard. Characters having to do with
why do
beards.
We do characters? Sometimes we'll talk about that.
Well, I think so. I think there might be room for that, because I think when you have a beard, there's a certain way you speak.
All right, we'll
I'm
be
happy
back.
to get into that.
We'll find
Yeah,
out right
there
after
is.
this on Everything Old is New Again. Possibly talking about beards, but
It's a teaser. That what I just did. That was a teaser.
definitely talking about Everything Old is New Again. Good job, Leo.
You're listening to Everything Old is New Again, America's entertainment pop culture talk show with Douglas Viviani and David Cohen.
Welcome back to Everything Old is New Again. This is Douglas Viviani with David Cohen, Michelle DeFranco, and we are trying to show you a little bit of the creation of a show and what goes on behind the scenes. But we've been derailed, I think, in that there's been a presentation of a particular topic that doesn't seem to be letting go. So we'll have to explore this a little further. Beards in general, correct?
Yes,
And
men's beards.
Men's beards, and I don't know that that there's a heck of a lot that we can do with that topic on the radio. But to me, I mean, what's a beard? These days, it's a guy that gets up and doesn't feel like shaving, and 3 or 4 days later, he's got a little bit of a beard, so he shaves a little bit off of his neck, and now he's got a growth going because he's lazy. And
I don't think that's.
So you tell me.
I beg to disagree. I think it's a thing now. It's guys are intentionally growing the beards. They're not just getting lazy about it. And
Michelle, are any of them in any
they're-
way, shape, or form attractive?
No.
Thank you.
But I think that men spend a lot of time, and I have to say, I think it's a good thing for a show because you could talk about how much money is being generated by companies that are like selling beard grooming kits, and you can get all types of products just for your beard. And there's all different kinds of beards too.
that's the thing. There's a lot of different kinds of beards.
Have you ever had a gentleman friend that had a beard before you got married?
I've only been married once, so but I've had other gentlemen friends. None of whom I had a very serious boyfriend with a mustache.
Okay, so that's really what I was trying to get to is what's it like when you're involved with a romantic relationship with a gentleman with
What's
a beard
it like?
or facial
How?
hair?
What do you mean?
How does it feel when you kiss someone? Doesn't it?
Unless it's stubble, it doesn't. It's soft.
Remember, I had a Van Dyke for a very short time.
Right.
But no, you didn't
I don't think
kiss
we
me
kissed
then.
during that time.
There's a reason
No, when
for
it's
that.
when it's growing in, it can stab you. But
Right.
once it's in, it's soft like a cat.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you've seen this on Facebook Live, but Doug is like mesmerized by this.
Well, because I'm imagining these characters, all I could picture in my mind is, because I'm housebound too much, I guess, is the Civil War beards.
Oh,
and I
sure.
can't
Gross.
imagine being amorously attracted to any of them.
I think they're ugly.
And I did a little research in the off time we had here, and I just want to look at. I have one here, Leo. You got to hold it up like that, my man. Okay, go ahead. That there's a beard here I'm looking at from Starkey Williams, who was a lawyer and a judge in the Civil War. It literally is a beard, a full beard, and he grew it out in 3 ways.
You want to show them?
It's it comes out.
It's like 3 points,
3
right? So it's
points.
almost like the
Like 3
mustache.
beards.
The mustache is extending beyond the face in a pointed direction, in either direction, and then the beard, the point on the
underneath.
chin, is coming down
Now, do you
as well.
think back in the day that was something that was popular? I mean, do you think that kind of a beard
Probably.
made that gentleman proud?
I would think so.
It has to be, right?
Yeah. It takes time to do that too. It's not and then it's got to be groomed that way. It just doesn't just happen like that. I'm sure he
Right.
spent time in the morning.
You had to twirl the ends with
Yeah.
some sort of product to keep them pointy.
I mean,
I
this,
twirled it with. Yeah, I'm sure he
this
would.
is what
explain.
you think you want.
That's a
Oh,
good
there's a
character.
character. Go ahead, do the
Yeah,
character.
guys with beards have
no, the
different voices.
general. Do the Civil War.
I used a product in between the battles back then.
But
There
General,
was-
the Northern is around our
No,
corner.
I said in between the battles, if you're listening to me, that you'd apply to the tips of your beard and you would spin it until it formed into a nice tight curl. And the women appreciate it very much so.
Oh, yes.
I think it's possible that,
And I think it struck fear in the heart of the Yankees.
I think it's possible that the South, one of the reasons why they lost is because they spent too much time on their beards and not enough time preparing for war. Is that possible? Because look at these, the Southerners, like look at the Northerners. They got like the goatees,
right? The
nice
Northerners,
and short.
You're right. They well, I don't know, because think about it. The Northerners, if they have the short goatees, there's a lot more grooming, I think, that happens. Because as opposed to, you see some of the guys in the Civil War that had the long, full beards, they didn't do any grooming to those. Right. You know what I mean?
They grew down.
Yeah,
you have to remember Jeb Stewart. This is now kind of obscure, but if you've seen that documentary or have you ever seen Jeb Stewart, it's basically it's a Confederate soldier general that just basically was lazy. He just grew it out.
Let it grow out.
There was no grooming involved in this guy.
Little. Maybe a little scissors on either side.
Maybe it was considered, to be weak, to care about your facial hair. Like, I'm too important, too masculine to worry about grooming my hair.
It could be,
something like that.
I mean,
they were at war. I mean, maybe they didn't want to, get into. They couldn't get hot water. I don't know what it was.
Maybe
they couldn't do
right,
it.
Right,
they couldn't really.
It was just practical. Maybe it kept him warm.
Really, could be an interesting topic as to why. Why they did this? Have you seen any other?
I feel like the Ken Burns things has got to kick in at any time. You're going to read a letter from a Union soldier. Supplies were sparse back then, Marge, so I'm not able to clip my beard. I hope you don't mind when I get home. Staff Sergeant William B. Patterson.
How about what's his name? General Burnside? Ambrose Burnside?
Yes,
of course.
I mean, they named sideburns after
him.
This
guy.
That's right.
Yeah, they named
Describe that,
sideburns.
Michelle.
Well, it's really hard to describe. It looks like two animals are living on the side of his face.
Oh, that's attractive.
And then they come together to shake, to like nuzzle.
So it's the sideburns going down his face in a thin manner, sideburns, and then it goes up, but very bushy, and then it goes up to his mustache,
right?
But his chin is completely clean shaven.
So it's like,
is he a Northerner or a Southerner? Do you know?
Burnside was a Southerner.
Burnside was a Southerner. See, it took a lot of time to do that, man.
He was a Union.
No, he's a Union guy. As I said, he was a Union.
Civil War.
He
was a governor and a U.S. senator.
I mean that, and that beard is named after him, the Burnside.
Sideburns were after him. Yes, he popularized them.
So instead of sideburns, it's Burnside.
But he was also. We should note he's bald.
Oh, let me see. Oh, he is bald.
So that's
a whole other thing.
That's another topic, Douglas, about whether
why
or not
they do it.
Bald men want to compensate for their baldness with beards.
Well, that's interesting. I think that might be true.
Oh, it's definitely true. I think so. I have a lot of bald friends, who have the facial hair, and they say it's to compensate for the lack of hair on the top of the head.
Before that, what I've seen the elimination of is that little tail, that hair.
Oh, when you're bald, you mean? You still have a ponytail?
They grow that little ponytail, you know?
Hideous.
Thank goodness.
Hideous.
But I haven't seen that recently, so maybe they're devoting the time instead of the ponytail now to the beard.
Yep.
But does it help, Michelle? Does any of this look good, even on a bald man?
Yeah, some bald men look better with short, groomed facial hair. Yeah, I think some do, actually.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well, do you have any beards that you prefer, David Cohen? Any ideas in terms?
Well, let me just get on the record that I do not like beards, period. I probably say that because I can't really grow one myself. It just doesn't grow out full enough on the cheeks. But no, I don't like them. I guess if I had to have a favorite, I'm figuring if you're going to grow the beard, just go for it, like these guys do with these bushy, look like animals hanging off their chin. I mean, yeah, why not? So I like those.
Well, what about the Abe Lincoln, where you've got the whole thing except for
no mustache?
No mustache.
That's weird.
Now that
was like a Quaker thing.
Do you think he did that because Martha didn't like the kissing someone with hair?
Could be.
He wanted to have the mustache and the beard for the rest of it, for the era. I mean, I don't know, to fit into the era, but
I mean, she was kind of.
I guarantee you, there's something like this.
She was crazy, right? Mary Todd Lincoln.
Oh, she was nuts.
So I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Michelle, does it agree, or you do? Have you heard the stories?
Possibly. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, if you're going to kiss somebody, the beard gets in the way as much as a mustache. I mean,
True.
You're going to be getting involved with that beard.
Well, let's face
too.
it. I love the guy. Don't get me wrong, but who wants to kiss Abe Lincoln anyway? I mean, let's face it.
Well,
It's funny because he's not an attractive man, maybe necessarily, but he's Abe Lincoln,
But
so
he's
you
powerful.
are attractive.
He's one
He
of
was
my
powerful.
top 3 heroes of all time.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
But, I mean, looking at him.
So in that way,
Right.
he's attractive because of what, of the person he is. I
no
think.
doubt.
right, and the power.
I would kiss him, beard or no beard.
Now, that's saying a lot.
Not really. Not if you know David.
How about the Fu Manchu?
Hey, careful with the language.
With the beard part of it hangs down.
Right, so you're growing the mustache, and the mustache continues down the side of your mouth.
Right, and then you've got the little bit on
to
the
your
chin.
jaw. Right, and then you've got the goatee below the bottom lip. Yeah, that's definitely a look. Not good for all men.
I don't know if it would be good. If I had to grow one, it would be the goatee.
Have you ever had a beard?
I went to Mexico once. I was gone for 7 days. I didn't shave for 7 days. I came back with a full goatee.
So the way you
Wait.
Yeah.
But a goatee? You mean a Van Dyke? So you have
Van
the
Dyke, right? The mustache, and then down straight
So it
down.
only grew there?
Well, I shaved
You
around
okay.
it. Yeah.
Oh, I got
And you
it.
had the little goatee, which is under the bottom lip.
I didn't. I had the bottom
Oh,
lip,
you
but
shaved
also the. No, I had I had that.
Yeah, okay.
And I also had the business on the chin.
Got it.
So that's a different name. What is that?
I like the goatee thing on certain men much more than the beard. I think it kind of looks macho, and not to be sexist or whatever, but
Just to clarify, you mean the Van Dyke. So the goatee is just the hair that grows below the lip.
oh, right.
Like a goat.
No, I like the Van Dyke.
The Van Dyke
Right.
is the mustache and then the
I like the Van
continuing down either side of the mouth to the jaw and covering
How about the
chin.
handlebar mustache, like the Raleigh Fingers?
Right. No one's going to know who Raleigh Fingers is.
Wade Boggs had that.
It's a handlebar.
No?
It's a mustache it's sort of.
Like a handlebar, like a bike handlebar.
No,
Curly,
I don't know
curly.
any woman who likes
Here,
that.
here's your handlebar right here. There you go.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
I'm just one woman, so
But you represent all. We'll be back right after this, and everything old is new again. I don't know. I don't think we can make a show out of beards, but we'll find out. I don't think you can do it. It's not enough material.
Now, back to America's entertainment pop culture talk show. Everything old is new again, with Douglas Viviani and David Cohen.
Come on, Harry. 1 minute.
Thought you were leaving without saying goodbye, did you? This is for you.
Thanks, Hagrid.
Go on, I'm with you now.
Welcome back to Everything Old is New again. That's Hagrid from Harry Potter. And we're back trying to show the creation of a show. How could we create and how do we create Everything Old is New again? My only issue is that we're stuck now on this topic. I don't think there's enough material. I don't know why we're continuing, but David Cohen's sticking with it. We're here with Michelle DeFranco as well, his better half, and we're trying to see, is there really any reason to talk about beards on the show?
Yeah.
Are we done? Can we move on, or do you have more to say?
I definitely have more to say.
Which is?
Well, first of all, how pervasive is this? We haven't addressed that, right? So we talked about how important it was in the Civil War and
Right.
how it's never been as popular since then as it is now. But who's wearing the beard? It's not just the guys that, we see every day, us common folk. They're with the air quotes again. I gotta stop doing that. But
You're
also
on the radio. We can't see.
But also, I know, but I have to tell people I'm doing it also, which is very weird. But also, it's not just the people we know, but it's the people we see in the movies, athletes, wherever you look on a screen, you see somebody with a beard. And most guys now have the beard. Most guys have a beard. So it's important. Did I make the case?
Now, Michelle, I'm just curious. Just feeding off of that, most guys have a beard, he's saying, or a lot of them do. Most guys that I know, if they're doing something physically, they're doing it for a reason to be attractive to the opposite sex or to whoever they're trying to be attractive to. The question,
same sex,
yeah, it doesn't
opposite
matter. I mean, but romantically, whatever, they're trying to be
Right.
attractive. The point is, why would they do it if it's not attractive? In other words, you're saying and I agree with you on many times, this is just not an attractive look.
I mean, it's not an attractive look to me. I just like to see men's faces, but I'm thinking about certain actors and very gorgeous, handsome men that have beards. It's like, I wouldn't kick them out of bed for eating crackers.
Right,
They
but
still look really
you'd
good with a
prefer for
beard.
them to wake up and shave, wouldn't you?
I mean, yeah, eventually.
And what about your friends and family? I mean, other people that you speak to.
I think most of the women friends that I know prefer a clean-shaven face because you can see what the person looks like, and when you are intimate, there isn't that rash that you get after being together.
So if that's the case, if at least we'll say a portion of the people that you represent, like how would I say this another way, you're representing a portion of the demographic that is going to have to deal with someone with a beard.
Right.
So the question is, and that portion you're saying is a negative response to it. There must be another additional reason. Of course, some of the men think they look better.
Well, it's trendy.
Maybe they have a.
That's why it's trendy. I mean, once younger guys started growing beards, everybody started growing beards. Older guys are growing beards now, and
also since the athletes are growing beards,
True.
like basketball players, baseball players, I think that and actors, it becomes something that others and young people emulate.
Right.
Like that guy.
And there's got to be enough women to like them, right? Otherwise, why would all these men walk around with beards if the women didn't like them? I mean, when push comes to shove.
I don't know. I think it's an in spite of kind of a thing. There's still good-looking gentlemen in spite of the beard. I still, I'll eventually get them to shave.
I mean, I don't think women. That's like saying women do stuff just to attract, men or other, to attract whomever they're trying to attract. I don't think men do everything just to attract others.
There's the one reason. The second reason you're saying, yeah, we do. But the second reason,
we absolutely do.
The only reason why we do anything, quite frankly. The second reason, though, is trendy. Okay, it's trendy to do. All right. I think if someone has a rounder face, sometimes they could square off their face with a beard.
Look at you! Wow.
I think some men feel that. Maybe feel unattractive, and they feel like maybe a beard will make them more virile looking. You know?
Now, have you seen Hell's Kitchen? I know this is an obscure reference, but this season, there's a character named Millie that was on it.
Is that the cooking show?
Yes,
okay.
With
yeah, I know who you mean.
Gordon
Ramsay, right. And so the question is, there was this Millie on the show, and he had this really scraggly, disgusting beard, cooking food, by the way, and nothing on it to cover it up. Let's just hear what he has to say. I don't know what he's
How do you
doing.
feel about that?
Millie, why should you stay in Hell's Kitchen? I've improved on finesse and breaking out of my mold. Tell me when I went down on the stage.
Everyone is...
Shut up. You tripping.
I'm tripping. Millie, you don't help out when people ask help. So if I need a
liar.
Really?
You're a liar.
I'm a liar?
You tripping. Don't say nothing else to me.
Here's my buddy Millie, okay? Now, he's got a lot of confidence, a lot of chutzpah.
Oh, but who's Millie? Explain who Millie is. I don't watch the show.
He's one of the chefs.
Competing on
Gordon
the show.
Ramsay's trying to...
He puts like 12 characters together, and they eventually get to one person who's the best and whatever.
I mean, I know you wear hair nets and stuff when you cook. I mean...
No,
I
nothing.
would say they'd have to have like a little basket over their beard or something, a little net.
I would agree with you, but they don't.
That's gross.
But isn't it sort of like a... It's very like self-inflated, like my essence goes into the food I cook. I mean, that's basically what they're saying. Part of me is in this food.
I don't want any part of you in any part of my food.
Lobster Florentine a la Millie.
Right.
And he dips a little hair
Millie.
over it.
A pinch of Millie.
A pinch of his chin hair on it. No, I'm not cutting it.
I think men's fashion, just in general, is so boring that you guys just want some other thing to control with the way that you look.
I think it gives someone confidence.
Yeah.
My theory, and did you hear the way Millie talked?
Yeah. Oh, he was going off, man. I don't know him, but yeah, he was on a mission.
Don't you talk to me. What does he say? He's tripping. Whatever. No, the whole
You're
thing.
tripping.
You're tripping. This was a man that was angry. This was a man that has confidence. Listen.
I'm tripping. Millie, you don't help out when people ask help. So if I need
liar.
Really?
You're a liar.
I'm a liar?
You tripping. Don't say nothing else to me.
Now, would he say that if he had a beard? Didn't have a beard, if he was clean shaven? I don't know.
Oh, so you're saying that it gives men confidence.
Yes.
Because maybe
something
they're
to hide behind.
Right, like a shield. Like a shield.
Well, when I can say that when I grew the Van Dyke that I had for a while, and I looked in the mirror, I felt like I looked scarier, like I looked tougher.
That's
so,
interesting.
And I think sometimes it affected the way I acted.
I think that came from this guy.
No, I don't hate Balboa, but I pity the fool, and I will destroy any man who tries to take what I got.
What's your prediction for the fight, then?
Prediction?
Yes, prediction.
Pain.
All right, so that's a guy who looked good in that facial hair. He really did.
Right.
First of all, we were introduced to him already with the facial hair.
Yes.
Sometimes we're seeing people without and then growing it.
That's true. He didn't need the beard, but it didn't hurt.
I think he still has it to this day. He's on
think he
Dancing with the
does.
Stars. He still has it. I love that character. I loved him. I think that beard, it's a theory, with Millie, with Mr. T, it gives you a different persona.
It does.
And maybe it gives you confidence. I don't know.
Could be.
Possibly.
In other words, if it's not always about attraction, or if women aren't always attracted to it, there has to be another reason. That is a trend certainly is a reason.
I think men do a lot of what they do not to attract people, but to assert power over others and their territory. And I think growing facial hair might be another thing that they do.
Well, that's another way to say confidence, I guess. You're an extension of, if you've got the confidence, you can then gather power. I don't know. I think it might be right.
So they're saying, I'm great already. Here's more of me now. Look at my beard. There's more of me.
Well, I don't know. The only kind of... we talked about the Civil War. We talked about now. There's another era where the beards are very popular.
Does the sword make my thumb look big?
Yeah!
Naughty! I want you all to know that today is the day that you almost Captain Jack Sparrow.
Now let me...
When? What period?
Now
are you talking about?
Pirate.
But when? What time period?
Oh, that would be 1700s. 1750s. Here's my thought. By the way, that was, just so you know, Pirates of the Caribbean ride at Disneyland where Johnny Depp was there live.
Oh,
and
right.
That's
I
why
heard about that.
And that was him interacting with people as he went by in the boats.
Oh, my gosh.
It was pretty
I heard
cool.
about that.
How about that? But you reacted negatively. Why?
Because I hate pirates.
What, they scare you?
No, I don't know.
Reason?
Is it the facial hair?
Yes, that's part of it.
Is it because they talk crazy like that?
It's the talking, but it's also the scraggly beards and the hook.
Have you ever heard of a guy, Captain Balzac?
Tell me about him.
He's a fella that's been on our show a number of times.
Oh, I hate him. He's so obnoxious.
He really is. He's been found out to not really be a pirate, by the way.
Yeah, he confessed to being just...
And a liar on top of everything else.
Yes, did you hear
fake.
that? Yeah.
At least if you're going to be a pirate, be a pirate. Don't be a fake pirate.
It's humiliating all around.
Yeah.
And to me, for some reason, I feel personally
You
humiliated.
have some kinship to that fella. I don't know why.
I know. I feel like he's an extension of myself somehow. But listen, the other thing
I just think being on the couch. We'll come back to your point in a minute. We have a couple of seconds. But the idea that Michelle hates Captain Balzac is very, very interesting.
Telling.
To me.
It's very telling.
Yeah, it really is. That's another story for another day. We'll be back right after this.
This is Everything Old is New Again, America's entertainment pop culture talk show with Douglas Viviani and David Cohen.
Welcome back to Everything Old is New Again. This is Douglas Viviani. I'm here with David Cohen, Michelle DeFranco, and Leo Viviani. And we're trying to solve the problem of the beard issue in America today. I don't know why. I don't think there's enough material here to actually do a show on it. And this is the presentation. Beginning of our show, the idea was we're going to peel back the onion, create a show, and show what goes on behind the scenes, what are we looking for to do a show. We didn't answer anything about characters. We do or do not want to do characters. We did a little bit of a character previously.
Yeah.
But
well,
what do characters add to our show? Why do we do them?
Characters are fun.
Characters are, first of all, fun to do.
Yes.
And
you guys have great voices.
Oh, thank you.
They're very skilled at doing characters.
It's fun. It gives us a way to just like not hear our voices because we get bored of each other. And it's good to suddenly do Watson and Holmes or what have you, just to get out of our heads and kind of improvise, and hopefully the people who are listening enjoy it. We really have no idea.
The characters do lend itself to entire improvisation because you're somebody else and you've got to think about a little strain of what you're trying to say and where it's going, and you're not really in the radio show, if that makes any sense.
True. Right, you're giving yourself a vacation.
Yeah, and so and sometimes all of those characters, whatever we do, is most of what they're saying anyway is unscripted for sure.
All of what they're saying is unscripted.
Yeah, I mean, there's some general skeleton we're talking about,
right?
whatever,
an outline,
but it's all, we don't know what's going to happen.
But as far as characters with beards, let me just posit this.
Yes,
I posit that guys with beards have different voices than guys who don't have beards.
Interesting. Well, certainly the pirates have different voices. Well,
right.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing about, like, the macho... You would imagine that a guy with a beard has a very deep voice for some reason.
Exactly.
I mean, it's a cliche.
Like, give me any sentence. Just throw a sentence out there. Like, it looks like it's going to rain today. All right?
Whoa, it looks like rain tonight.
That's right. So that's a guy without a beard. Now, the guy with the beard would go like,
oh, it looks like it's going to rain tonight.
Because you have the beard. You have to sound like that.
You sound like Millie.
It makes
You're tripping.
I'm tripping.
Well, because there you go. It's associated with testosterone.
Yeah.
If I start getting more testosterone, I will start growing facial hair, and then my voice would get lower.
So what would you sound like saying it looks like it's going to rain tonight?
Looks like it's going to rain tonight.
And you have an accent also on top of it.
And I sound
you sounded like Linda Blair a little bit.
I sounded like a pirate, I think.
Yes. Ann Bonny. She is. It's a new character.
Thank you.
Ann Bonny was a female pirate, famous female pirate.
Ann Bonny was a female pirate.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I have a take on it. I would like to reserve judgment on this topic, though you've opened the door to the idea. First of all, we started with Magnum. That was a Magnum PI.
Tom Selleck.
Tom Selleck. And he still has his beard from the 70s now in Blue Bloods. The same exact beard. So I don't know where he's going with that. But my other thought is sometimes people have a beard and they're hiding behind it, or they're getting confidence, or are they becoming evil?
I think I liked him with a beard better. Gave him character. Of course, almost any change would be a distinct improvement.
What worries me is the easy way his counterpart fitted into that other universe. I always thought Spock was a bit of a pirate at heart.
Indeed, gentlemen.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, right. I remember that Star Trek
other
episode.
Thing.
The mirror universe, the omnipresent.
He looked mean when Spock grew that Van Dyke thing, whatever he had. It was scary.
Yeah,
was evil.
You're right. And the devil. Sometimes when they portray the devil, he has that Van Dyke.
Yes, 9 times out of 10, if not all. I mean, he's
right.
Yes.
So you're buying into this idea of the beard as a topic of discussion. I mean, you're bringing up good points.
I don't think there's enough there to talk about.
And I'm looking at you right now, Douglas.
Yes.
I think you would look very dapper in a beard.
Actually, I kind of agree with her.
Or
what
Van
type?
Dyke. A Van Dyke.
A Van Dyke.
The Van Dyke. I actually should try that. I don't know if
yeah, because let's face it, you have no hair on the top of your head.
Exactly, and I would love to do a Van Dyke that then, but the one that doesn't extend to a point. I just want the one that's.
Why don't you let people see your face?
What do you think? What kind of beard should I grow?
Right, almost any kind of beard to cover that face.
Exactly,
would help.
I would want to grow one that actually goes long enough where I could wrap it around the top and cover the bald spot.
That's a good idea.
Michelle doesn't want to get in there.
Men do not like to be bald, but I think some bald guys are very, very attractive.
Yeah. You know what? This might be controversial. I don't know what to say this.
Oh, say it. Come on.
Being married, I don't care anymore, if that makes sense.
That is not the right thing to say.
I know.
But it's what every guy is thinking.
Yeah. I'm not saying I don't try to be attractive and so forth, but I'm not obsessed and depressed about it every day because I've been accepted for what I am.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
You just saved yourself.
Well, that's what I always was thinking. I don't know what Michelle was thinking, but I was thinking
what were you
Well,
thinking?
I don't want to give up
What kind of
just
crap was
because...
that?
Oh, you were thinking I give... No, I don't... Even though I look like I may give up, I haven't given...
No. That's not what I was saying.
All in good, clean fun. Hold on. Let's see. There's one other guy that did with the beard. He didn't have a beard. He had a mustache. It's hugely thick, disgusting mustache.
Wow, he's very nice.
And, you know,
Borat.
You remember that guy?
Yeah.
Sasha Cohen.
I hate Borat.
And
you talk about good, clean fun, and you're going to bring a Borat?
Thank you.
He was mean, nasty, disgusting, and off color, and not good, clean fun.
And another reason not to have a mustache.
Exactly.
So it's funny because mustaches were huge for a while, right? I mean, the whole porn stash thing of the
Marlboro
70s.
Man.
Yeah, 70s were huge for mustaches, but no, the guys do not have just mustaches anymore,
mustaches.
right?
Some guys do.
Tom Selleck is the only one I get. I'm just saying
some guys
Hollywood-wise.
Some guys in where I work at my school in the Bronx
Okay.
do.
But
Really?
But what
Some
about
men.
guys like 30 and younger?
No, these guys are not 30 and younger.
See, I think there was something I haven't looked in a while. There was something about police officers for the longest time would always have a mustache. But I think that's gone too. I haven't seen that now that I think about it.
No, I don't see that.
But didn't you see that for the longest time?
Yeah, I think you're right.
No, but mustaches are they're out. They're not.
Well,
they're
my
just not
father
in.
has had a mustache ever since my father is 84. I have never seen him without a mustache.
Well, all right, here's something. Now you just reminded me, because an older gentleman with a mustache, loved Dick Van Dyke, loved him on the Dick Van Dyke Show. All of a sudden, somehow, he's on Diagnosis Murder, I know I'm going back, with this gray mustache. It was he looked terrible.
I hated that. I remember
and
that.
he's still, to this day, he's 99. He's got that
still has the
disgusting gray
mustache.
mustache.
Does he? At 99?
Yes, he was in Night at the Museum in 2006.
Was he a villain? Was he a bad guy?
He was a bad guy, and he appeared to be a good guy. Turned out to be a bad guy. He had the mustache. I don't know. I'm just saying it's not a good look.
No, but I think better on older men, like Alex Trebek.
With the gray, all right, Alex Trebek.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, he looks good with a mustache.
Because and especially if it's someone that you've always seen your whole life with a mustache, it becomes part of their face.
See, I always think if you're introduced to someone with the facial hair already, that first impression, now you've got that look. Now if they take it off or modify it, it makes it different.
My first real boyfriend in college, had a mustache. He was a football player, very macho guy, and that was back in the, late 80s. And then he shaved it off, and he just looked so strange.
Did you see him like at the reunion or something or other, whatever?
I've seen
with it
him
off?
since then. We saw him. You knew him. Did he have a mustache when you met him?
No, he didn't.
No.
He didn't.
And how did it look?
I mean, weird to me because I always knew him with a mustache.
But I think just to get back to beards for a minute.
I don't think there's not enough material here for a show.
Well, so I'm gonna give you more material.
All right.
I also think that the beard is a removable tattoo. How about that?
Well, why it's another show. These stinking tattoos. What's with the tattoos?
Well, that really wasn't my point.
Are you kidding me?
That wasn't my point. But anyway, no, you're right. There's another. But I think it's a way for people to mark themselves. Like, this is my rebellion.
Signature.
This is my signature look now. But the great thing about the beard is that, unlike a tattoo, you can always shave the beard. You can shape it differently.
Well, I think men just want more control. Like, they want to have more fun things to do with their look.
I could definitely see that. I could definitely understand that. I think it is multifaceted. Everyone does for different reasons, for sure. But I think I want to just at least say this: if you're out there doing a beard, and it's one of these big scraggly beards and what have you, if you think it's attractive, with all due respect, to women, I don't think it is. You could do it for whatever reason you want, but if you're doing it for that reason, I don't think you're on the mark.
And please, I agree. And please do not cook my meal.
And you're going to see a lot now. You see a lot.
Thank you.
With that said, so there's a guy I know, never had a beard, grew one of those bushy, out of control beards that he doesn't even trim. Oh. Right? And I asked him, you don't know him, but I don't want to mention him by name. So,
he knows who it is if he's listening.
Right. So I asked him that, you're really letting that go. He said, yeah, I am. I said, what does your wife think about it? He said, she loves it.
What?
I'm like, wow, okay. He says, yeah, that's the only reason I'm keeping it, and it's great because I don't have to do anything to it.
See,
like,
men, Michelle, honestly, men do lots, if not most, of what they do. Even if you think he's doing this to make money. Well, no, he's doing this to make money, to have money to afford X, Y, and Z for a woman.
Right.
Or for a man, remember this.
Or for a man, for another man.
Well, of course.
Romantic.
Right, of course. I'm not trying to, but my point is,
not that there's anything wrong with it.
How do you phrase that now? I don't even know how to phrase for another significant other, maybe.
Significant other.
Okay.
Right.
So that's where they're doing it. They're not doing it for men. Most of what we do is
to attract another human being.
Right.
I think you're right.
I mean, in the long run, it may take you 4 steps to see why that's happening.
Because men are hunters, right?
I mean, if you're telling me that's the case, I have to trust what you're saying, but I see men doing things to just say, I'm in charge here, I'm in control, I'm in power. And
why? Why does a man want to have power?
That's a really good question.
Because
Doug.
it attracts
I don't know.
women. In their thought. Now, I'm not
Or
saying.
men.
Now, let me be clear. I don't think. All right. I don't think that men are always right in this decision, but I think that's their perception. That if I have power, if I have money, if I have whatever, I can attract the other person. I don't think that they're always right about that, but. You ran out of time. All right. Well, thank you very much for listening.
I guess you had enough
Doug.
material
Did
for
not have
a
enough
beard.
material.
It's not enough material for a show, but we'll consider it. We'll be back next week and everything old is new again to talk about some pop culture, whatever's relevant to the real world and to entertainment. How about that? Next week, come on back.
Yeah, hey, Douglas and David, I got to say, I was interviewed on NPR by Scott Simon, another hero, but you guys are my new heroes, and I easily include you into the Scott Simon milieu of brilliant guys on radio.
Oh, wow. Thank you.